Hello, today I'll be showing you this electric wood chipper sold by Harbor Freight Tools, and it's their Portland brand. So it can chip wood branches that are about up to 1 1/4 inches in diameter. It's 1/6 the cost of a gas-powered wood chipper, and it has some shortcomings, or compared to a gas-powered wood chipper, it's going to have some shortcomings, but there are also some pros. So one of the pros is the cost, so it's 1/6 the cost. The other is the footprint. So if you have limited space for storage, it's roughly 1/4 or even 1/3 the size of a gas-powered wood chipper. Ideally, if I can borrow one or if I can rent one, I would prefer a gas-powered one over an electric one, and we'll see why in a second. We'll also be looking inside this wood chipper and kind of showing you some of its features, including how the blade is reversible. So you can use the tool to flip the blade over once it gets dull, and you can run it for a little bit, and once both sides of the blade gets dull, you can remove it and sharpen it, or you can contact Harbor Freight Tools for replacement blades. But once again, this has limitations. For myself, I restrict this machine to softwoods. So for instance, this olive tree back there, I would probably not use it. It's probably too hard and might dull out the blade. So for some of the straight growing branches, like the Japanese elm, this can work. For bramble, it's going to be, you're going to want to use a gas-powered wood chipper if you have bramble, and you'll see why in a second. So creeping fig, that doesn't process well with this machine. So before we do a demonstration of wood chipping using this machine, we'll take a look at some of the wood that we've since processed. So we went and chopped down a lot of green from our hillside, and then we have to go and pretty much hack away at any side growth, and anything that's soft we just laid on the grass and ran a mower over it. The mower picks it all up and condenses it all down. We have these branches that are straight, and before running this through the chipper, we're going to want to cut this section off so it remains straight. We also have some leaves on the end. So this machine doesn't like a lot of moisture. So these sticks were harvested last week, and we allowed it to basically dehydrate so that the leaves don't gunk up the motor. So we have that to consider. And the other thing is, it's best when you have your straight sticks that basically it needs to be fed, and then once it catches, it'll just pull the stick in. So what you want to do is probably the first 1 foot part of these sticks, you should remove any of the growth. So when watching the demonstration, pay particular attention to these sticks and how there's very little side growth. And if there are side growth, they're going to be workable by the machine. So if there's something that's really thick, you're going to want to chop that off and make it its own stick to run through here. The other consideration are some of the very thin sticks, and while it's kind of counterintuitive, these thin sticks actually have the bark, and the bark will end up getting very they're very tough on the machine, and the machine just gets skunked up. So that's something else to keep in mind. And the other thing is, with these sticks, there's still moisture in them. So as far as running the machine, the manual recommends that as a cleanup process, you want to find some sticks that you have that are completely dry and run it through the machine, so it'll absorb all the moisture and pretty much kind of cleans it out prior to storage. So those are the things to consider. For me personally, avoid the very hardwoods, and make sure that this machine can be kind of process all your wood first, because then you can kind of assembly line this and get a lot of it mulched up quickly. And then in the end, This machine does a 12-to-1 ratio, and you get all these really fine wood chips. It's going to be good for many things. I use it to line the litter box, the rabbit's litter box, so we're not buying our pet rabbit's litter box material for that. And since it's nice and fine, you can use it as it will break down more quickly. And then you can also mix it into your gardening soil if you like. And that's something to consider for the 12-to-1 ratio. And if there's anything else that I can think of, I'll mention it along the way. So we're gonna go and run this machine and do some wood chipping. Always have safety goggles. And then ear protection. Okay, before I begin, I'm gonna run to the back and get some dried sticks for later on when we clean the machine out. Oh, here's some. So, here's some really dry one. This was our second raised bed trellis that we took apart recently. Let me set that there. It's going to be really satisfying to see these long ones run through the machine. Okay. So if the machine gunks up, you undo the screw, and in here are the blades, and just make sure it's not plugged in. So these are the blades here. Right here, and they can be removed and sharpened, and this is the other side where it's not used right now, so you can flip it over, and this is the sharp side. So, and if it gets skunked up by, say, the thin branches with a lot of bark, then you can basically turn this thing and open it and clear it out, but always make sure it's not plugged in. And always read the owner's manual on how to use this machine prior to starting. This machine pretty much works the same way as a juicer, so you get the same satisfaction as running veggies through a juicer, like carrots. Here's an example of that bark gunking up our machine. And once again, make sure the power cord is not plugged in. Those thinner branches are probably best left for the lawnmower. I like to be a little bit conservative and take a break, especially with an electric motor. Just kind of let it cool off a little bit. We're getting a good breeze, so that will help it cool off. I haven't had any issues with it overheating, but I wanted to take this opportunity to show some of the examples of sticks that aren't going to work in here. So we're going to prune these so that they're straight, because what happens is in here the machine will chew up the sticks and they'll turn and turn and turn. Sometimes they'll turn and it'll get stuck. This is why I call it a straight stick chipper. And we just saw it's fail-safe when it gets caught. It trips the circuit breaker. So, yep. This is what it's like to use an electric wood chipper. And when you run this machine, it should be nice and dry in there. There shouldn't be masticated leaves and branches. So the machine works best when it's a little bit dry. Leaves will cause a lot of that moisture to build up. So once again, just let your leaves dry up a little bit before running it through this machine. Okay, so we're done. So our pile of sticks and such got turned into mulch now. The other thing about mulch is that we can use it for its dynamic accumulator properties, and that's the concept where a tree with its roots that are able to tap below ground, they pull up all the nutrients that are down there, namely minerals, and this is all in theory, and they bring it up and store it in their leaves, their branches and such, and when these break down, we release minerals into our topsoil. Something that I'm very curious about, and someday when this breaks down a little bit more, I think we're going to spring for a mineral soil test and compare the mineral levels here with the rest of the yard. So maybe we'll dig up some soil from underneath the lawn and sample that. I suppose I should have started this episode by sitting on the pile of branches and then ending with me sitting on this pile of mulch. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.